Tonight, we're following several developing stories. An alarming discovery just outside the Palm Beach airport, within direct sight of Air Force One and the president. A shocking daylight heist, priceless jewels stolen from one of the world's most famous museums. And new attacks put the Gaza ceasefire to the test. We'll begin with the breaking news from Palm Beach. The Secret Service finding a hunting stand with a direct line of sight to where the president steps off Air Force One. The FBI now flying in agents to find out who built it. A brazen robbery at the Louvre in Paris. A gang of four getting away with priceless crown jewels. Diamonds, emeralds, and sapphires all gone in a matter of minutes. Authorities say that thieves broke into a second-floor window, getting away on motorbikes. The museum evacuated as authorities search for the suspects. Also tonight, millions are bracing for a dangerous line of storms heading east from the Ohio Valley. Our weather team on what this could mean for your drive to work tomorrow. President Trump threatening to slash U.S. aid to Colombia, calling that country's president an illegal drug leader, after the Colombian president accused the Trump administration of murdering an innocent fisherman in one of its recent strikes. Israel launches a new wave of attacks on Gaza as the fragile ceasefire is put to the test. Hamas and Israel accusing each other of violating the truce, which is barely a week old. Israel saying two of its soldiers were killed in combat. Serious new allegations against Britain's Prince Andrew. Police now investigating allegations that he tried to get his bodyguard to dig up dirt on his accuser, Virginia Giuffre. A mid-air scare as a lithium-ion battery catches fire during an international flight. What happened next? Bruce Springsteen opening up about his offstage struggles. Plus, Jeremy Allen White on the challenges of playing the boss on the big screen.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday. I'm Mary Bruce in for Lindsay Davis. Tonight, a shocking heist at one of the world's most popular museums. Four suspects getting away with treasured jewels housed at the Louvre in just a matter of minutes. But we begin here with breaking news and a chilling discovery by the Secret Service. A hunting stand with a direct line of sight to where the president steps off Air Force One found in Palm Beach. Authorities say the discovery was made during a routine sweep before the president's arrival on Friday. The new details coming in tonight. ABC senior White House correspondent Selina Wang leading us off.
Tonight, the FBI is investigating a suspicious hunting stand discovered with the direct line of sight to the very spot where President Trump steps off of Air Force One at Palm Beach International Airport. The Secret Service says the item was discovered during a routine security sweep ahead of the president's arrival on Friday. FBI Director Kash Patel saying tonight no individuals were located at the scene, and the agency has since taken the investigatory lead, flying in resources to collect all evidence from the scene and deploying our cell phone analytics capabilities. This comes after two assassination attempts against the president last year. Just weeks ago, Ryan Ruth was found guilty in one of those attempts. Secret Service agents say they found him hiding in the bushes at Trump's West Palm Beach golf course, armed with an assault rifle.
Take a look at what happened.
The president was also shot in the ear during that campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, an attack that left one person dead and several injured. And Mary, the president is returning to the White House from Mar-a-Lago tonight. We have reached out to the White House for comment. Mary?
Selina Wang on the disturbing discovery tonight. Selina, thank you. And overseas now to that brazen daytime heist at the Louvre in Paris. Authorities say thieves targeted the popular tourist attraction this morning using a ladder mounted on the back of a truck, then fleeing the scene on scooters with royal jewels dating back centuries. Tonight, the intense search for the suspects. ABC's chief foreign correspondent James Longman reports from Paris.
A gang of thieves is still on the run tonight with some of France's crown jewels after a stunning raid on Paris's world-famous Louvre. The heist taking just minutes in broad daylight. Officials say at 9:30 a.m., four men, disguised as construction workers, moved this mechanical ladder up against a second-floor balcony, and that CCTV captured two of them using power tools to cut into the Apollo Gallery, where French Emperor Napoleon III's crown jewels are on display. Officials say after threatening security guards, who then rushed to evacuate the museum, The masked men moved efficiently. Police investigating this video obtained by BFM TV, they believe shows a suspect using small chainsaws to open display cases. Taking 9 pieces in all. Priceless items, including sets of sapphire and emerald necklaces and earrings, elaborate diamond brooches, 2 diadems, and Napoleon's wife, Empress Eugenie's diamond-encrusted golden crown, nearly 200 years old, which prosecutors say was recovered at the scene, reportedly damaged and left behind as the thieves made their escape on waiting scooters. Authorities say the men tried to set fire to that ladder platform before they fled, evacuating visitors, sensing an emergency as police rushed in. The Louvre closed for the rest of the day. Americans Jim and Joan Carpenter were there.
We were just ready to go in to see the Mona Lisa when they swept us out of the gallery. We didn't realize the whole museum was being evacuated. And then we asked a guard, and the guard said, "We're having technical difficulties."
The concern now, what those thieves might do next with the priceless jewels.
The fear is that it gets broken up and sold because a consumer will have a very, very difficult time telling that, hey, this emerald came from, say, a crown.
French President Emmanuel Macron has vowed to track down those stolen jewels and prosecute those responsible. He's called this an attack on France's heritage. Mary?
Really is like something out of a movie. James, thank you. And back here in the U.S., millions of Americans are bracing for strong and potentially dangerous storms and a messy morning commute here in the Northeast. Heavy rain pounded downtown Greenville, Mississippi on Saturday. So let's get right to meteorologist Dani Beckstrom from our New York station WABC. So Dani, time this one out for us.
This is the same potent front that brought the severe storms from the Midwest down to the south yesterday and now taking aim at the Northeast. From the Mid-Atlantic up to the Northeast, we're looking at the potential for localized flooding, potentially damaging wind gusts. And as this line creeps closer to the I-95 corridor overnight, even a few weak isolated tornadoes. So the area shaded in green, that's where we're watching through the overnight hours. Timing this out to D.C. by about 10 p.m. Looks like it's headed toward Philly, New York City, closer to 2, 3 a.m. And then east of New York City, that's where we're watching for tomorrow morning's commute. From the city west, New York City specifically west, things are actually looking better by the Monday morning commute. But for New England, unfortunately, it does look like a soggy start to the morning commute. In general, this line tracks east the rest of the day Monday, and we're looking breezy and slightly cooler heading into the work week. Mary?
A wet one to start with. All right, Dani, thank you so much. And now to President Trump threatening to cut aid to Colombia. The president calling that nation's president a, quote, illegal drug leader. But the country has long been one of America's closest allies in the war on drugs. Here's ABC's Christiane Cordero.
Tonight, President Trump threatening to cut all U.S. aid to Colombia, accusing the country's president of being an illegal drug leader. Trump posting that Colombian President Gustavo Petro is doing nothing to stop drug production, warning him to close up the cartel's killing fields immediately, or the United States will close them up for him, and it won't be done nicely. The fiery message comes just hours after Petro accused the U.S. of killing an innocent fisherman during U.S. strikes on vessels in the Caribbean Sea. Petro writing, U.S. government officials have committed murder and violated our sovereignty in territorial waters. That strike, one of 7 such attacks on suspected drug boats since Trump declared earlier this month that the U.S. is in armed conflict with the cartels, justifying the use of deadly military force. 32 alleged traffickers have since been killed, according to the administration. Their identities remain unknown. Trump is calling them narco-terrorists.
That was a drug-carrying submarine built specifically for the transportation of massive amounts of drugs.
But the administration is providing no evidence that those killed were attempting to ferry drugs to the U.S., alarming even some Republican allies.
All of these people have been blown up without us knowing their name, without any evidence of a crime.
Mary, on Thursday, Admiral Alvin Halsey, the commander of U.S. troops in the region, suddenly stepped down after less than a year in the post. Neither Halsey nor the Defense Department have explained the move publicly. Mary?
Okay, Christiane, thank you. And now to the No Kings protests. Millions of Americans from New York to Georgia to Texas and California and many other states and cities in between taking to the streets to protest the Trump administration's policies. It may be the largest one-day protest in the U.S. in more than 50 years. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimbert.
Tonight, President Trump mocking the millions of Americans who took to the streets in peaceful protest on Saturday in what has been described as one of the largest single-day demonstrations in U.S. history.
No kings!
An estimated 7 million people gathered across some 2,700 No Kings rallies in cities from coast to coast, according to organizers. Trump responding via social media, posting an AI-generated video depicting a crowned Trump flying a King Trump jet, and sharing another video, first posted by Vice President J.D. Vance, showing Trump placing a crown on his head. But from Los Angeles to Chicago to New York's Times Square, a common refrain.
What brings you out here today?
Democracy is dying and we have to save it.
Mary, this was the second No Kings Day since President Trump returned to the White House, and many protesters on the ground we spoke to say they hope to carry this momentum into the midterm elections, now just a little over a year away. Mary?
Andrew, thank you. Overseas now to the Middle East and that fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Israel launching airstrikes in Gaza after accusing Hamas of violating the truce. So let's get right to ABC's Marcus Moore. And Marcus, this truce is barely a week old. The big question, can it hold?
Mary, absolutely. And there's some key developments tonight. Israel carrying out a number of airstrikes across Gaza today, and they also cut off aid to the enclave, but have since reversed that decision. But Prime Minister Netanyahu had already threatened to cut off aid until all of the hostage bodies are returned. Israeli officials saying this was retaliation for Hamas violating the ceasefire agreement. Over the weekend, 2 Israeli soldiers were killed when Hamas fighters attacked their position along the Yellow Line, that area where they have partially withdrawn. Now, Hamas says they have been going after criminal gangs and that the allegation that they're violating the ceasefire agreement is a false pretext for Israel to resume its heavy bombardment. Both sides accusing each other of violating the ceasefire. And Mary, it is clear that this ceasefire, and we're only in phase 1, remains extremely fragile. Mary.
Fragile and already being tested. Marcus, thank you. Now, new troubles tonight for Prince Andrew. London police are investigating claims that he allegedly asked one of his security officers to dig up dirt on the woman accusing him of sexual abuse when she was just a teenager. This just days after Andrew agreed to relinquish his Duke of York title. More now from ABC's Olivia Rubin.
Tonight, with scrutiny of his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein growing, Prince Andrew now subject of a police investigation after new allegations he once asked a member of his state-funded security detail to investigate his accuser, Virginia Giuffre. The Met Police today saying they are actively looking into the claims made, after British media outlets reported the prince had sought to dig up dirt on Giuffre, even allegedly providing that officer with her date of birth and social security number in 2011, shortly before news outlets published a photo showing Andrew and then 17-year-old Giuffre together. The prince later suggesting that image was fake. News of the investigation coming days after the prince gave up his royal titles and just before the release of Giuffre's new memoir, written before she died by suicide earlier this year. Giuffre had long claimed Epstein trafficked her to have sex with Andrew when she was 17, writing in her memoir, Andrew, quote, believed having sex with me was his birthright.
He knows exactly what he's done, and I hope he comes clean about it.
The prince has vigorously denied the allegations against him, paying out millions to settle Giuffre's claims, but not admitting any wrongdoing. He stepped back from his royal duties after denying he knew Giuffre in this interview with the BBC.
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady. None whatsoever.
You don't remember meeting her?
No.
Now, there could still be more to come here for the prince. Sources telling ABC News there are more of his emails contained in the so-called Epstein files, which could be embarrassing for the prince if they become public. Mary.
And big questions remain about whether those full files will ever be released. Olivia, thank you. And now to a mid-air scare after a lithium battery caught fire, filling the cabin with smoke during an Air China flight heading to South Korea. The plane forced to make an emergency landing. So let's bring in ABC's Morgan Norwood. And Morgan, what more are you learning tonight?
Well, Mary, as you pointed out, this was a terrifying incident for those 160 passengers and crew members aboard that international flight. Just take a look at this video. You can see flames tearing through an overhead bin after a lithium battery ignited. And within seconds, we see black smoke pouring across the cabin. Passengers there also heard screaming. Crews then running with fire extinguishers. That Air China flight forced to make an emergency landing in Shanghai. And this is why we see these airlines ban loose lithium batteries in checked bags. They have to stay in your carry-on so that crews can reach them fast if something like this goes wrong. And that's exactly what Air China says the crew did, that they followed protocol, quickly put that fire out, and thankfully, Mary, no one was injured.
An important reminder for us all. Morgan, thank you. And a tragic development in the search for a missing Philadelphia woman. Police telling ABC News that human remains found in a shallow grave at an abandoned school are believed to be Kada Scott. It's the same area where Scott's personal belongings were found days earlier. The 23-year-old has been missing for 2 weeks and was allegedly being harassed before her disappearance. A suspect is in police custody. The medical examiner's office will work to confirm the identity of the remains and determine the cause of death. And there is much more ahead here on World News Tonight this Sunday. Former Congressman George Santos out of prison and speaking out. Will he pay back his victims? And later, Bruce Springsteen on his mental health struggles ahead of the much anticipated new movie about his life. And next tonight, a deadly crash at a children's birthday party in Maryland's Prince George's County. Police say a vehicle plowed into a tent where the party was being held last night. One adult was killed and more than a dozen other people were hurt, including several children between the ages of 1 and 17. According to police, the driver fled but later turned himself in and could face criminal charges. And former Congressman George Santos is speaking out just days after President Trump commuted his 7-year prison sentence. He says he's humbled by his experience, but he doesn't care about those who've criticized his release. Santos had pleaded guilty to fraud and identity theft, admitting to deceiving donors and stealing the identities of 11 people. He had agreed to pay $373,000 in restitution, but now says he'll only do that if required by law. And when we come back, a frightening accident during a mountain bike event and late word on the rider's condition. To the index now, and a terrifying accident today during a mountain biking event in Utah. Spanish rider Adolf Silva was attempting a double backflip in Zion National Park when he crashed on a steep downhill, landing on his head. Silva was airlifted to the hospital. Red Bull USA says he was alert, conscious, and speaking to the family after the accident, and we are grateful for that. And when we come back, Bruce Springsteen on his offstage struggles. Plus, how do you prepare for playing the boss in a movie? And finally tonight, the rock legend on his secret struggles and the actor who became the boss. This is often what comes to mind when you think of the boss. But the powerful new movie, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, is peeling back the curtain on a critical but little-known chapter of the rock titan's amazing career, the making of the album Nebraska, and the depression and mental health struggles that accompanied it. Bruce Springsteen sitting down recently with our George Stephanopoulos to talk about the healing power of music.
Well, music was the first way that I really medicated my anxieties and my depression, you know.
One of the things that comes through in the film is that you hit that point where you realize it's not enough. You can't heal yourself only through the music.
I really knew a lot what to do with those 3 hours on stage. It was the other 21 that were killing me. You know?
Jeremy Allen White, known for his roles in Shameless and The Bear, now embodying the boss. But he faced an immediate challenge. He doesn't sing or play the guitar.
I was scared right away, and I said, I don't sing, I don't play the guitar. Are you sure you don't want to cast somebody that, already knows how to do these things?
He spoke to our Lindsay Davis about overcoming those hurdles.
When I spoke to JD, my guitar teacher, I said, hey, I'm really excited to learn how to play the guitar. And he said, you're not going to learn how to play the guitar. You're going to learn how to play these Bruce songs. I only know the chords necessary for really the album of Nebraska, which is only 4 or 5 chords. And then in singing, it was like, all I want to do is sound like Bruce.
Springsteen himself, a sounding board throughout filming.
I had his support the whole time, and that was very, very important. I couldn't have done it without his guidance.
What kind of pressure did you feel to do him justice?
I had some trepidation going into it because I just know how beloved he is. I recorded the majority of the album Nebraska, and Bruce listened. And he called me and he said, you sound a lot like me. You don't sound just like me. You're making the song your own.
And you can watch George's full interview tomorrow on GMA and Lindsay's interview on ABC News Live Prime. Thank you for watching. I'm Mary Bruce. Good night.
David Muir, the most watched newscast in America. And now, ABC's World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program. For the third year in a row,